Howdy folks. Today I'm going to show you how to use probably my favorite tool to release one of the most important muscles, not only for athletic performance, but our life as well. And that is going to be our infraspinatus. Infraspinatus is a big fancy way of saying the muscle that lives on top of the shoulder blade. Now, one of the biggest problems I see with this exercise, having worked with hundreds and hundreds of people over the past decade or so, is that this is a fairly difficult muscle to nail down. It's tough. You've never actually seen your shoulder blade in your own life. You've maybe seen a reflection of it in the mirror, but you've never actually seen it. So it's hard to figure out how to use anatomy to pinpoint the exact location of this muscle, much harder than, say, some of the muscles on my leg or my arm that I see and interact with directly every single day. So I want to make sure that we go over a couple of key points so that if you've been prescribed this exercise, you can actually reap all the amazing benefits of it. Now, with this one, I love to use a genuine Theracane. If you're someone who works for Theracane and you're watching this video, I would absolutely love to endorse your product more formally because I think this is the best one that's out there. There's a lot of imitations on Amazon, but the reason I love this is because it is very, very sturdy. This thing cannot break, or at least I'm not strong enough to break it. The other reason I love this tool is because this little nodule is a little bit smaller and more pinpoint than other ones that are out there, and it just helps me sink into muscles a little bit better. Now, we could also use a lacrosse ball, and I'm going to have a different video to show you how to do that, but this is my favorite way to work on my infraspinatus, and if you're ever lucky to play around a golf with me, you'll probably notice I keep this in my golf bag, and I'm going to be doing this out on the course. So I'm going to turn around for the rest of the video because the shoulder blade is on my back, and I'm going to point out a couple of key ways that you can ensure that using the Theracane, you can actually hit the infraspinatus and actually improve things like your shoulder external rotation, your overhead shoulder movement, and all those awesome things in the gym like your bench press, overhead press, clean and jerk, snatch, anything that you're doing up overhead. So let's check it out. All right, so I have my handy Theracane, and I'm going to grip it with the same side that I'm going to work on, hand on top. So if I'm working on my right infraspinatus, I'm going to grab this thing in the top with my right hand. This is going to be kind of my guide hand to be a little bit more pinpoint accurate. Whereas my left hand, my bottom hand, is going to be down here. This is really my power hand that's going to help me dig into that muscle in an intense but tolerable manner. So a couple of key things. The biggest mistake is that as soon as people get back here into the shoulder blade, they start to work their way a little bit too close to the spine. So if I may point out here, you might be able to see some little ridge back and forth. That's because right now I am actually on the bony processes of my spine. We don't want to press here. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to do anything for us. Now, I have all of these muscles here in between my spine, and this is kind of the ridge of my shoulder blade. These muscles might be part of your program to work on, but not in this video. Remember, this is the infraspinatus, which means I need to be on top of this shoulder blade, not to the side of it. So I usually instruct people, it can be pretty easy if you know what you're looking for to find this ridge right here. And you might be able to see me kind of passing back and forth on it in the video through my shirt. That is actually the bone of my scapula. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm outside of that bone right here in the meaty part on top of my shoulder blade. Now, if I find a little spot right here, ooh, you might immediately feel some discomfort from the pressure. Now, let me show you how to really apply pressure to this. I'm going to turn to the side here. Once I've found that tender spot, I need to get almost a pull with the bottom hand and a little bit of a push with the top hand. What I'm trying to do is exert a force that goes into that muscle. We're not scraping down the muscle. We're not going up. We're trying to press into it. It takes a little bit of practice to get good at this, so I want you to play around with it once you've found a tender spot. See if you can get this little push-pull feeling, ooh, and get a nice tender spot here in your shoulder blade. Now, the infraspinatus is going to be the same size as your shoulder blade. So if you're someone who has a very large shoulder blade, right, say it starts here, goes all the way down here, you might have 2 or 3 spots in this muscle that have trigger points in them. So remember, I'm not rolling or rubbing around. We're going to find that tender spot and hang out there. I'm going to hang out for about 30 seconds. Might be a little intense. And one thing I also want to show you, I'll turn, I'll keep pressing. So sometimes people will feel pain right here on the front of their shoulder. This is called referred pain, and it's totally normal to have this pain. It's a good thing to take note of because while it is normal, we do want to get rid of this pain eventually. That referred pain really means that this trigger point back here is very active and very angry. It's trying to send you signals with that referred pain to say, hi, please pay attention to me and get me fixed so that we can do all the things we love to do, like play golf, throw the ball, lift our kids up over our head because they absolutely giggle their minds out when you do that. Notice how I'm kind of talking through the discomfort too, right? Remember, intense but tolerable pressure. Now, the last thing, all right, if you get this spot really good and you hold that spot, what you might feel, which I'm feeling right now, is this muscle tense up, and then start to flutter, all right? That is actually the muscle releasing and relaxing. We're starting to get rid of some of those trigger points. So, big thing here, remember, where you are putting the Theracane is the #1 most important aspect of this exercise. If you're in the middle of your back, it might feel good, but we're not improving the health of our infraspinatus muscle. We're not going to get that shoulder rotation. We're not going to get that overhead movement and eventually strength that we need to do the things we want to. So make sure, follow along those steps. Be very precise about where you're putting this wonderful Theracane so that you can get the benefits of releasing your infraspinatus.